Welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I am your AI host, Kelly Taylor. Thank you so much for joining. A 5-star review. Thank you so much. There you go. You just got that for free. And that's what people are doing now to make money. People are going on TikTok and they are acting like NPCs, AI generated people, and they are doing little act outs for the gifts that they are sent. And I say don't hate the player, hate the game. 2020 was the year of making money off of feet pics. 2023 is the year of making money acting like a fool on TikTok Live. And we're just all trying to survive in a capitalist society, and that's where we are right now. Wild. It's been the only thing that I've seen on my TikTok feed when I am perusing the app is people acting like NPCs on the internet. And they're making a lot of money doing it. So good for you. You know who are the real suckers? Me and you, who are not doing that. Anyways, people are just making a fool of themselves on the internet, but they're making money while doing it. I do this every week, making a fool of myself. Eventually, I'll start posting clips of the podcast every day on Instagram. So I'll be making a fool of myself there. And how much money am I making by doing that? Not US dollars. None. Zero. I don't know. Sorry, I'm in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood. I don't know what's going on with me. But you know what would make me put in a better mood? If you go to YouTube, where we have full video episodes, and you watch the podcast there and subscribe and comment and like the videos, and you go to Apple Podcasts and follow us there and leave a 5-star review, that'd be even better. Thank you for people leaving reviews. Amazing. That makes me feel better. Email us at ifeelfattoday@gmail.com. I keep putting that out there. No one's emailing, or maybe I'm just not checking it. I don't know. But email me there if you want to, get some advice or tell me about what you think about the show. Again, even disparaging comments are welcome. Follow us on Instagram at I Feel Fat Today. You can follow me on Instagram at Hello, This is Kelly. And we're moving on with the show. Okay, so what do I have to tell you guys? I have some life updates. I am back from visiting Denver, Colorado. I went out there to visit my best friend from high school, Allison. It was lovely. Got to see her, hang out with her and her new fiance for the week. That was great. Denver's really cool. It's a little bit of it's an early town. I don't think I can hang. I was able to do it for the week I was there, but that town is up at like 4 a.m. and in bed by 9. And I'm pretty much asleep from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. It doesn't work for me, but I still really liked it. Hiking was awesome. We went to Rocky Mountain National Park and we hiked a little bit, and we did a trail, and boy was I nervous that I was physically unable to do that because it's intimidating. If you're not walking fast on the trail, then there's people behind you that get annoyed, and you want to keep up with the group, and the altitude and the elevation makes it harder to breathe. But I did it, and I had a fun time while doing it, and I was like, damn, I can get used to this. So if anybody knows any hikes in the New York area, I would love to do it. I would love to do some more hikes. Super fun. I went hiking when I went out to California, and I grossly underestimated how hard that was going to be. And Rocky Mountain National Park was way harder, but it was fun, and I did it. And I got to have a Diet Coke at the very top of the trail. So that was cool. That was fun. I saw Taylor Swift. Oh boy. I am like fully, I think it's not just the fact that I had to go back to work this week. I think I am like Taylor Swift depressed. Post Taylor Swift depressed. It's just was such a good concert, and I went 2 nights. We were in the nosebleeds both nights. The one Friday night, we had the perspective of the side of the stage, which was a really cool perspective. And then the other night, we were looking like directly at the stage, which was even better. And I think I would sell my soul to get floor tickets to one of her upcoming LA dates. I don't know with what time or money I'm going out to LA, but you know, you can always make it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not willing to sell my soul because I could literally be on TikTok right now acting like a AI generated person making money off of responding to people's gifts that they sent me. Like you'll send someone like a flower emoji or like a rose emoji, and the person that's doing the live will do something like, I love roses, like something like that. And because people want to watch the person on TikTok live doing this, they send them the roses. And so, like, you see people being like, I was on live for 2 hours and I made $200. And it's just like, what the frick? I don't know. But I just realized I don't have 1,000 followers on TikTok. So I couldn't go live even if I wanted to. Which I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that doesn't have 1,000 followers on TikTok. So follow me there. What's my handle? I don't even know if I know the handle to my TikTok, but go there and follow me so I can go live. I won't act like an AI person, but I will go on live and chat. I don't know. Crazy. I'm trying to keep my energy up. I have my LaCroix right here. LaCroix. I don't really care. And we're going to get through this. And we're going to quickly read the little story that I have for this week from the internet. And then we're going to move on to our guest, which is a great one. Okay. Is there anything else that I wanted to tell you? I went to Denver. I hiked. I did well. I saw Taylor Swift. Oh, we got the song. She does 2 surprise songs each show. So she had 2 nights in Denver this past weekend. I went to both nights. And she played 2 secret songs at each show. And I knew that no matter what, I was going to be happy with the secret songs, because even if she played a song that I didn't know all of the words to, I definitely would know the chorus, because I'm the top 2% of Taylor Swift listeners on Spotify. I'm a late in life Swiftie. They're a tragic bunch, but I love Taylor Swift and her music is amazing. So I know pretty much every song. So I wasn't nervous about not knowing the songs or whatever. And the very first night, on Friday night, we got the song Picture to Burn, which, if you know anything about Taylor Swift and her music, that is the iconic song off of her very first album debut, where she has the iconic line, you can tell all your friends that I'm obsessive and crazy. That's fine. I'll tell mine you're gay. And she has since changed that lyric. She removed the telling her friends you're gay. She changed the lyric to, you can tell your friends I'm obsessive and crazy. That's fine. I'll say. And then whatever the next lyric is. But when she says that, Taylor Swift is just beaming from ear to ear when she says the new line, because the entire stadium screams at her, "You're gay!" And it was, it feels like a dream. It was amazing. She then played Timeless which is one of the vault tracks off of Speak Now, which was just recently released on, I believe, July 7th of this year. So just a few days prior. And then on the second night, we got the song Starlight, which is a perfect example of a song that I don't know all the words to, but still really appreciate. Like, I know the chorus or whatever. And then for the second and final secret song for the Denver Eras Tour on Saturday night was Back to December, which is a song she hadn't performed in like 10 years, something like that. And it felt really magical to be a part of. And wow, I don't have words. It was truly amazing. There was a lot of speculation that Hayley Williams from Paramore was going to come out and do Castles Crumbling, another vault track off of the new Speak Now re-release, because there was just speculation of that happening. That did not happen, which I was laughing at because this shirt I'm wearing right now is one of the, like when you go to a concert and there's guys outside with like ShopRite bags full of t-shirts and they're like, one guy will tell you it's $5, the other guy will tell you it's $20, and they're selling like bootleg shirts. So I got this when I was leaving Paramore at MSG a few weeks ago. It was just after Memorial Day weekend, and I was happy to go to see Paramore just because I went on StubHub and I saw that floor tickets were pretty cheap. I think I only paid like $75 for MSG floor tickets to see Paramore. So I was happy to go. And I probably would have gone anyway, but my real sort of motivation for going to a random Paramore show, I think I was like on a Tuesday night, was I had convinced myself that Taylor was going to come out and perform with Hayley because I knew that they were going to have a song together coming out on the new Taylor Swift re-release. And Taylor had just played MetLife all of Memorial Day weekend, to which I was stalking StubHub to try to find tickets to, but it was like $1,500 for nosebleeds. And even if I had the money, I would have gone and had an amazing time. And I would have spent any amount of money, I think, because I would literally open a credit card to buy the tickets if I had to. If I didn't have tickets to see Taylor Swift in Denver, I 100% would have gotten like $1,500 nosebleeds for MetLife. But I didn't have to do that because I knew I had the Denver tickets coming up, which Allison and my new friend Shannon were able to get at face value, $130 for Taylor Swift tickets. Like they won the Great War that day and just got through and got tickets for Denver. So anyways, because I got shut out from seeing Taylor at MetLife Memorial Day weekend, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go see Paramore and maybe Taylor will come out and perform with Hayley Williams, which also didn't happen. But they're going to be touring with them all throughout Europe. Paramore's going to be touring with Taylor all throughout Europe. And oh man, I would love to go to that. Follow me on TikTok so I can be an AI on live. All right, I think that's all I wanted to hit on for personal stuff. Vinny is feeling better, by the way. He's off the medication. Thank you so much to my sitters that watched the baby while I was on my trip. He's way better, and yeah. Oh, God, I love that kid. All right. So what we are going to chat about before we get into today's episode is an article that I saw on BuzzFeed News, about Khloe Kardashian talking about her older or younger self on, I think it was the latest episode of the Kardashians. So the Kardashians, Keeping Up with the Kardashians was a show that was on the Entertainment Network. That show is no longer. Now they have the Kardashians on Hulu. Different show, and doesn't have the same joie de vivre that Keeping Up with the Kardashians had. That show was messy, and I loved it. The show on Hulu, The Kardashians, is very produced, and I was like a super long holdout in watching the Hulu Kardashians, and then when I finally was like, oh, fuck it, I'll watch it, I watched, and I was like, this is so dumb, and then I found myself crying. And I guess that's the power of the Kardashians, because I'm just a little sheep that will find that entertaining. I don't know. I have anxiety, and that shit just like helps. I have anxiety. That's like something really special about me is that I have anxiety. I don't think you know many people that may have anxiety. But anyways, watching shows like reality TV and Vanderpump Rules just like really takes me out of it and like calms me down. And that's the only way I can express how it makes me feel. I have to do it by making fun of myself because I don't know, maybe I should like read a book or something. I hate myself. Okay. So anyways, what I was saying is that Khloe Kardashian is looks like a completely different person on current day Kardashians compared to, seasons of the early seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I'm not saying she shouldn't look different. That was, that's a show that spans the course of a decade. So of course it's, they're going to look different. People get older, but we all know that the Kardashians, it's not just about getting older. It's about like literally changing the way that you look. And the person that has arguably changed the most has been Khloe Kardashian. And I would say a close second is probably Kylie. But again, it's a little bit unfair what we do to Kylie because she was like prepubescent when we first were introduced to her. And so now she's like a grown woman. I mean, she's still kind of a kid. She's only in her early 20s, but still, like, she's a mom. She's looks way different now. She actually just said recently that she's never gotten plastic surgery on her face. She's only ever gotten filler, which if you look at a photo of her, that's probably true. But like her butt and like liposuction, like, no, girl, you've gone under the knife. I would like bet my next paycheck that she's gotten plastic surgery done. But, that's not because I'm some sort of like stoic or not stoic, some kind of, sorcerer that knows. And like, it's just apparent. Sorry, I'm getting like really derailed right now and I just need to keep going. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to read this. Okay. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, only like a few parts of it. And the whole reason why I want to talk about it is because I think Khloe's being really mean to herself. So I'm just going to shut up and let's do it. Okay. From BuzzFeed News, Khloe Kardashian brutally dragged old pictures of herself and said she was so chubby. It looked like she was, quote unquote, wearing a fat suit. Okay. So on this week's episode of The Kardashians, we see Kourtney and Khloe Kardashian and Kylie Jenner get more candid than ever about their personal insecurities. So I'm going to bypass some of this stuff and I'm going to go to right here. I had a bookmark and now it's gone. Okay. So I'm going to start here at the article where, I don't know if you guys remember, but it was a few years ago at this point. Maybe it was like 20, I don't know what year it was, but a photo that was taken of Khloe by her grandma, where Khloe was standing by the pool in a bikini and it was unedited and she wasn't posed. She looked great in the photo. She looked amazing. But Khloe immediately like ripped it from her Instagram but of course at that point, like literally nothing can be on the internet, especially by the Kardashians, but really this goes for anybody, for a millisecond without it like, being all over the place. And so, this unedited photo of Khloe was going around, but she had removed it. And people were saying, why would she remove a photo like that? They're so fake. All they do is edit their photos. So at the time, Khloe attempted to justify her desire to eradicate the image from the internet, writing on an Instagram post that the quote unquote pressure, constant ridicule, and judgment over her appearance had become quote unquote too much to bear. She went on to say, Khloe is the fat sister. Khloe is the ugly sister. Her dad must not be her real dad because she looks so different. The only way she could have lost the weight must have been from surgery. Should I go on? She wrote in a callback to the years of criticism over her appearance. It's like really mean that there is like a conspiracy theory that Khloe Kardashian is actually the child of O.J. Simpson, which is like at face value a very funny conspiracy theory, just because it's like OJ killed Nicole Brown Simpson. Chris was best friends with Nicole Brown Simpson. It's just like very messy, and just it could be a fun conspiracy to sort of like feed into, of course at the expense of Khloe, but it's one of the conspiracy theories that Candace Owens like hard fast stands behind, and I'm like, oh shit, I have no affiliation to that, because that woman is nuts. Okay, she goes on to say, for over a decade now in photos, every single flaw and imperfection has been microanalyzed and made fun of to the smallest detail, and I am reminded of them every day by the world, Khloe continued. It's almost unbearable trying to live up to the impossible standards that the public have all set for me. And so while discussing the topic of editing and insecurities with Kourtney and Kylie in this week's episode, Khloe spoke candidly about how her self-confidence has sadly deteriorated over the years. Trust me, I had the most confidence, Khloe told her sisters, looking back on the early days in her career when she was constantly abused for being bigger than her older siblings. I was chubby and in a skin-tight bodycon dress. You couldn't tell me otherwise, she added before declaring that, quote, society gave me insecurities. After this, Kourtney quickly hit back, assuring her sister that she wasn't chubby. However, this simply prompted Khloe to search for old photographs and criticize her appearance even more. This is Chubs, Khloe demanded, displaying old tabloid covers for Kourtney on her phone. It's like I'm wearing a fat suit. Despite seemingly feeling more content with her body now, Khloe admitted in her confessional that the public scrutiny is still just as bad. I've been torn apart the minute I've gone on TV, that I didn't look like my sisters, so therefore it's not good enough, she began. And then when I started changing my look, you get better makeup, you do fillers, you do whatever. I had a nose job, and there's still plenty of people bullying you. And there's still people constantly bullying you. She questioned, so it's like, which one is it? You didn't like me, then you don't like me. You just have to do things for yourself. The Good American founder concluded by putting out a word of caution to her critics, reminding them that she is still growing up in front of the camera. We're still growing and evolving. It's just unfair, I think, to have so much pressure put on people, she said. I think we're all just trying to do the best we can. So that's just a little snippet from the Kardashians. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is twofold. So I think that if I were to be Khloe Kardashian in the year 2007, which I think when Keeping Up with the Kardashians came out, 2007, 2008, that time frame, and she looked the way that she looked like a perfectly healthy woman. She looked like a perfectly healthy 20-something, and it just wasn't good enough at the time, because that was also the era in which we were calling Jessica Simpson Jumbo Jessica. And she, was this fat woman who was like maybe a size 8. We were just so mean to women, especially. And I think we society has always been really mean to women, but the aughts, the 2000s, is when we had access to the internet, and that's when paparazzis, even if we didn't have cameras on our phones readily available, paparazzis were snapping pictures of celebrities and selling the photos. And if you had any meat on you whatsoever, you were just ridiculed online. And so not only is Khloe having to deal with that when the show began, she's also being compared to her very thin sisters, because Kourtney was always so small. She just looks like she has that natural build to be very small. And Kim had like hips and a butt, but moreover was very, very small. And so, that's on top of it. She's being like pitted against her sisters, essentially. And so it makes perfect sense to me that Chloe would, devolve into somebody with horrific body dysmorphia, because it's really hard to believe that you are being dysmorphic about the way that you look when everybody's telling you that you need to lose weight. I remember actually in one of the early episodes, I struggle with this. Caitlyn Jenner in 2007 was a father figure to her, and made a comment about Chloe needing to lose weight. So it was just, she was just getting, even in her own house, her stepdad's telling her, you got to lose weight. And she didn't look like it. I'll put up a photo of what Chloe looked like. And it's like insane that we would ever call this woman fat. It is so, or unhealthy for that matter. It's just so mean. And she just looked like she was like at her set point, her natural body weight, and, being torn apart for it. And so now we have Chloe, present day, who, has a new face. I think she looks gorgeous, but she has a new face. She has this banging body. And she looks back at old photos of herself where she wasn't fat and says, I look like I'm wearing a fat suit. And that really breaks my heart for her, because if she didn't have a public image, this probably wouldn't be something that she dealt with at the scale in which she had to. And I'm not saying feel bad for the Kardashians, but fame, money, influence aside, I think that it's really unfair and upsetting that Chloe, had to feel like she had to go to the lengths that she has gone to completely change her body. I don't think she looks bad now. I think, I think she looks extremely thin, and it just is sort of like obvious to me, despite them maybe not being completely transparent about it, that, she's had liposuction. She's very clearly on Ozempic. Kim got a surrogate, had a surrogate pregnancy because she, wasn't healthy enough to hold the baby in her own womb. And now Chloe just had a baby via surrogacy. And I think they said it was for health issues, but let's be real. She got this new banging bod, and she's going to ruin it by having a baby. And that's something that is eugenicsy, and something that's very much a privileged elitist thing, to be able to just have someone else carry your baby because you don't want to mess up your body. So I understand that all of that shit is something that's really hard for anybody to even consider having, any compassion for Chloe. But that going to the lengths of having a surrogate pregnancy so that you don't, gain weight or quote unquote ruin this body that you have now, that to me is more sad than it is privilege. And I understand that it's privileged. I completely understand that for a plethora of reasons that I don't have the time to go into. It is problematic, even though I hate that word. But still, I see somebody that has such bad body dysmorphia and is so afraid of being fat. They are terrified of being fat, that even though they want a baby so bad, they want to create life so bad, they are willing to have someone else incubate for them and be a surrogate. And then, she's public about how it's difficult bonding with this new baby now. And it's not one of those fuck around and find out kind of things, but it's just sad. Now, the other side of the coin is, this is a person with influence, and a young girl could read this. I'm picturing myself, if I had this article in front of me when I was 16, and one of the 16 to 20 something, just in the depths of an eating disorder so bad. If I were to read this, like how it would make me feel. And it would probably translate the same in that I'm getting the feeling that being fat is like criminal. But I don't think that's necessarily Chloe's fault. I think that that's what she had always been told. And so she is just sort of like existing based off of all that she knows. And of course, I would wish that, because she has such massive influence, that she would be easier on herself and like not strive to be incredibly thin. But that's like having a heroin addict that has like massive influence and then like telling them, trying to like have that be the person explain why, heroin's bad for you, if you know what I'm saying. Like she is this is all she's ever known, really. And again, I'm not trying to have sympathy for her, but I also don't think that she's like public enemy number one, because she's like, sort of pushing this agenda of like, I have to be thin, I have to be thin, I have to be thin, because that's really how her brain works. Now, obviously she's on Ozempic. It's really annoying that she's not like out and public about it. But again, if she was a normal person, it wouldn't be anybody's business. But again, she's public. And so like, that's the real danger, is that like she can go be on Ozempic and get liposuction to fix like any like fat fold she might have. And she's out publicly being like, I work out and I eat salad. And like, then someone that is easily influenced would be like, I just have to eat salad and work out, and then I'll look like Khloe Kardashian, which is like, that's never going to happen. So I think the influence that they have is scary, but it's almost like David and Goliath, where we have to be David and we have to arm ourselves with the knowledge that what they're saying isn't 100% true, because they're just trying to sell us something. The Kardashians, if they're not selling us a product, they're selling us an image. They're selling us a lifestyle. And I don't know. But I relate to that feeling of looking at a photo of yourself feeling like, you're wearing a fat suit. And it's not a good feeling. And it's a really isolating feeling, even though I think a majority of people, women especially, but people experience that feeling of like taking a look at a photo of yourself and hating it, or feeling like, God, I'm glad I don't look like that anymore. Or, God, I wish I looked like that again. So yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Skims for saving that girl's life from bleeding out when she got shot 4 times. Who gets shot 4 times? Obviously it happens, but damn, girl, you're out for New Year's Eve. You're wearing Skims and you got shot 4 times and it stopped you from bleeding out? That's crazy. Anyways, that was a quick pivot. But I am dying right now and I need to go. And hopefully next week I'll be in a better mood. I think I will. I think I'm just low energy right now, low energy. And just, kind of feeling, I maybe should have taken this week off from the podcast, but never. I would never do that. I have a whole group of 10 people who listen to this podcast that depend on me to get this out every week. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, this week on the podcast is super fun, and I am really I'm really excited for my listeners to listen, because I have my dearly beloved on the pod this week. He is 1/3 of the Locker Room Talk podcast and a incredible stand-up comedian. Please welcome to the show, Joe Gorman. What's up?
How you doing? What's up, G?
Joe Gorman, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Kelly Taylor, thank you for having me.
Normally, I'm really nervous
Yeah.
when I do these. Oh, hello. Normally, I'm super nervous when I do these, and I have a ton prepared, and my note sheet is blank.
No.
It simply says Joe Gorman
Oh, no.
on the top.
Are we just gonna riff?
No, I have questions, but they're
Oh.
in my mind's eye.
Okay. No spoilers on our anniversary dinner.
Okay, which is when is our anniversary?
Yeah, I do. I have it in my calendar. I
Oh,
don't know
it's
it
a
off the top of my head.
Google
but
knows.
Yeah, I
Google
have it
knows.
saved on Google. Thank God.
What do you consider our anniversary? Our first date?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so, because it was like we're like one of those couples where it's like we went on a first date and like we probably had 3 dates before it was like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. We just got back from vacation.
We did.
We just got back from vacation. I'm feeling it. Why does it suck so bad coming back from a trip?
I think it's just like airline travel is just at its base stressful.
Yeah.
So there was that, and we had a little bit of stress getting home, just through the Denver airport.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? At least I did, because I don't have TSA pre-check.
Which has got to change.
But at the same time, it's like I shouldn't have to pay for that. I'm a fucking American.
Yeah, but that's what being an American is paying for convenience.
I mean, it's been like 20 plus years since a terrorist attack on American soil.
All right.
I think we can get over it.
We couldn't make it 5 minutes without you mentioning 9/11.
I guess so. Well, it needs to be said.
People need to be reminded, because
Until America wakes up.
listen, never forget.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so we just got back from Denver. It was super fun. We did some comedy, but you did more comedy.
I did, because I don't have friends out there.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like you have a whole lot now.
I have family. It's different. It's a good scene.
Yeah,
It's a
seemed like
good scene. Great community out there. Shout out to all the people that gave me stage time.
Shout out to you guys. It was super fun. Yeah, the funny thing about Denver was that we were visiting my friends who originated in New Jersey, and the comics that we saw out there also originated in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So
It's like the hipsters Florida for New Yorkers in Jersey.
it's like a mountainous
Yeah.
Florida. I was thinking about today, I was talking to one of my friends about the trip, and I was like, I feel like I would really like Denver if like I really needed things to slow down, you know? But I don't know, because I like New York.
Yeah.
I guess I just like things being expensive. But even Denver's getting expensive.
There's shit to do in New York, though.
Yeah.
I feel like 3 weekends in Denver, and we pretty much would have done it all.
Yeah, like we didn't get to like go camping and see stars.
Yeah, but like that's what we have to do, a lot more outdoorsy shit.
Yeah.
Whereas there's the theater district in New York.
Which
There's
we
restaurants.
Never go to.
There's restaurants, and there's theaters, and there's culture.
Bars.
Yeah. And people come to New York. People move to Denver.
Yeah. That's
How many
cool.
people on our flight from Denver to New York do you think were people coming back home to New York? And how many people do you think were coming to visit New York City?
I don't know. That's a good question. I was so tired that I didn't even really look around. Everyone seemed like they were in a bad mood. So
Yeah.
maybe they were living here.
I think they were living here, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It felt like a very homecoming plane.
Yeah. We also had a health scare with
We did.
Finny.
We almost lost our beloved
No,
dog.
we did not almost lose him.
I sprung into action and performed a tracheotomy and
No.
saved his life.
Thank God for you. No, he was walking weird. He had a little leggy. His little leggy hurt, and he wouldn't let us touch it.
But
And
now it seems that it's all
now-
better.
I don't think it's all better. I think he's still a little sensitive, but at least he's off the medication. So that was really cool, having
Yeah.
to travel while my dog was on medication. That was a real treat. But I think I did a pretty good job of like not obsessing over it.
I think it helped that we had people that we trusted
Yeah.
to watch over him.
Yeah.
And that the Furbo was working, so we could check in.
It started working like at the end of our trip, which I think was better, because if it had been working at the beginning, I probably just would have been obsessed with looking at it. Whereas by the end of our trip, it was like, all right, it wasn't something I could like habitually do. But yeah. So when we got home on Tuesday night, we ordered a pizza, as we usually do when
Hell
we
yeah.
come back from trips.
You gotta get the New York pizza.
Yeah.
Whenever you're in New York, try the pizza.
So
That's my tip.
we got the pizza, and it was one large pie,
You better believe
onions, extra cheese.
it. Kelly's favorite. It's the juice special.
I could do without the extra cheese. I could just do onions
Oh please.
and regular cheese.
You want?
And so we get back, we get the pizza. I have 2 slices,
Mm-hmm.
and you
That's right.
have the rest.
That's right.
Yes. So that
It was a 4-slice pizza.
no, it
Fucking
was an 8-slice pizza, and they were big slices. Don't try that shit over here.
Hell yeah, dude.
So, and I'm not trying to shame you. I'm segueing.
Well, it is called I Feel Fat Today.
Yes.
So, like, dude, are you going to ask me if I felt fat on Tuesday?
No, I'm not going to ask you that. I wanted to use that because I saw that, and we don't usually finish a pizza. So I saw that, and I was like, how hungry were you in Denver that we got back and you ate an entire pizza? And it turns out you were hungry.
I was.
Okay, why?
Everyone was eating healthy.
I don't think it was like a conscious choice to eat healthy. I feel like people just eat healthy. And we also were eating vegetarian for you.
Right. And I also, I don't know. I also feel like I can't cut loose and show people what I really eat when I know them at first.
Right.
Like, I got to, like, kind of be like, oh, what's up? What's up? It was a risk getting 2 grilled cheese at In-N-Out.
I mean, I got 2 burgers.
That's the only reason I felt comfortable getting 2 grilled cheese.
Oh, okay.
I used to
All right.
get 2 grilled cheese and an animal style fries. That was like my go-to meal at In-N-Out.
You know, the animal style wasn't as great.
You got to get the fries well done.
We did get them well done, but the cheese like congealed.
That's what I love about it. I love a big chunk of cheese in there.
I don't know why people like that. I'm all about like a cheese whiz, like melted cheese. The only time I want like a hunk of cheese, which is like on like a microwavable nacho, you know, like a depression meal where it's just like corn chips with like shredded cheese on top that you microwave.
Yeah, the single dad nachos.
Yes. Okay, so we all have nicknames for it. That's
just like a pathetic.
Yeah, just like a
form of
pathetic
nachos.
meal. Yeah, just like I'm broke and hungry and have no will to live. So
What's
I'll
your
just do
definition
this.
of failure?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. The animal style was good, but like just the slice of cheese on top of French fries is like not how. I
Oh,
like
okay.
to
You want
roll.
more of a cheese whiz, maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like it's so hard to find good cheese fries
But
anywhere but New Jersey.
I think it's just because, like, you know, they only have their sliced cheese at In-N-Out, so they make 2. I guess you could ask them to, like, rip it up and then put it on top.
So could you get fries animal style, no cheese? I mean, I guess you can.
I guess you could, yeah.
Because I feel like I'd prefer that than just like the globby cheese.
I love the globby cheese.
Okay, so you're saying that you didn't feel like you could eat to like your true nature in front of people that you don't really know.
No, I couldn't cut loose.
So how much more would you have eaten?
I probably would have eaten twice as much.
Twice as much.
Yeah. I probably lost like 4 pounds.
Yeah, I
over
did
that
come back
trip.
from that trip not at all feeling like I gained weight.
I felt emaciated.
Emaciated.
Yeah.
But Allison's boyfriend's or fiance is a really good cook.
Yeah,
Right?
he is.
Yeah.
He's like also like an adult.
Yeah.
Isn't
he's
it
an
weird
adult.
like when you know people and like, oh fuck, you're like an adult.
Yeah, yeah.
When did that? And it happens so casually. But they've always been like probably like a little more emotionally mature. Like I knew some people I knew in high school. Like I'm like, oh, okay, that person seamlessly transitioned into adulthood.
Right.
Others, it's like, oh shit, you have a kid now.
Right.
Whereas me, it's like there's been zero change. Same piece of shit for 20 plus years.
No, I think you're just saying that. I think you're saying that for the brand.
Yeah.
But maybe it's dating me that's gotten you to like better yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
Would you
Yeah.
say maybe or would you say
I
yes?
would say definitely.
Definitely. So thanks to me
Yeah.
and my unending nagging, I had you go to the doctor
That's right.
to get some blood work done, some other things, whatever. So you went and you found out you had high cholesterol.
That's
and
right.
that changed your life because what happened?
I fucking stopped eating meat.
You stopped eating meat.
I stopped eating meat.
And how did you feel?
I felt fine. I didn't feel like There's also like they say like there's like this huge difference where either you get unbelievably tired and exhausted and feel weak, or you feel like fucking Superman, where you're like, oh my god, I can run like a marathon, I can lift heavy weight. Like it, documentaries will either push one or the other.
Right.
Either you'll become weak and pathetic, or you'll become like a fucking god. And I feel pretty much the same. I do think I get up a little bit earlier now. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, my body like wakes me up at like 6 a.m. regardless.
Because they're like, I'm hungry.
But it's not like hunger pains. It's just like I'm not tired anymore, which sucks.
Yeah.
But then like I sleep during the day.
Yeah, you do take naps.
I take naps during the day. So I don't know what to tell you.
I don't nap during the day, and I can't fall asleep, and I cannot wake up
Yeah.
at all.
You got a weird schedule.
Yeah. I can't
it's
help
like,
it.
Yeah, you don't go to sleep, but when you go to sleep, it's impossible to wake you up.
It's impossible. It's a medically induced coma. I am medically asleep when I am asleep.
You're like out.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah, one of my hobbies is taking photos of Callie while she's asleep. And I have a special Instagram page just for that.
If I ever go missing, I think you should use one of those photos, because when people go missing, they use like the nicest photo where their hair is done and their makeup is
Right.
perfect. It's like if I'm missing, chances are I'm not looking great. So I
Right.
feel like I'll look when I'm missing, or if I go missing, I would look closer to who I am sleeping than who I am like at a wedding.
Yeah, definitely. Like when they always show like, oh, this kid, missing kid, and it's like his high school graduation photo.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that the only photo you have? You know,
Yeah.
and it's like 7 years ago.
Those kids never get found, do they?
No one ever gets found.
Yeah.
How many people get found out of the number of people that go missing a day?
I have no idea.
Probably like 5%.
This isn't a true crime podcast, so I don't
it's
know.
not. Okay. This is a fat podcast.
I don't know. I feel like I feel fat today is like not about being fat. It's about like not feeling good.
What if you change it to PHAT?
The Black Eyed Peas did it already.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel fat.
Let's get retarded.
Yeah.
The dog is taking all of our attention. Relax. I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's something I say to myself all the time. I feel like I've said it my whole life of like, oh, I feel fat, whether I was or wasn't. And it's always been a bad thing. So I'm trying to make it be like an okay thing. Like it's fine, but I don't know. Would you, like, do you think you would lose interest in me if I gained a bunch of weight or lost a bunch of weight?
I don't know. I probably feel the same.
You'd probably feel the same.
I probably feel the same, right? You're still juice.
I guess.
You're
I'm
still my little
juice.
Gumar, no matter what.
Yeah.
How would you feel
About me or you?
about you and then me?
If I gained a bunch of weight, I wouldn't feel great, and I'm always afraid of that happening, but I'm like, something has to be really amiss for me to like gain a bunch of weight.
Can I tell you my new life goal now?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I want to be a 300-pound vegetarian.
A 300-pound vegetarian.
That's
I don't
right.
think your bone structure could handle 3 bills.
We're about to find out.
I don't think it could handle it. You're a small guy.
Yeah.
You're a small guy.
With big dreams.
Like, if you look at our wrists, my wrists are significant. Yeah, bro, my wrists are bigger than yours.
Yeah. Fellas, get yourself a big-ass woman.
To protect you.
Yeah.
Have you always dated women that were like taller or bigger than you? No.
I've dated all types. I've dated all types.
Yeah.
I've had them all.
Yeah.
I've tasted the smorgasbord. Now serving number you. I've dated like a woman that was like 5'10".
Really?
Yeah, giant.
When?
This was like years ago. It was like
5'10".
2000. God, you were probably still in like high school or something.
You are so old.
It was in 2009.
I was a sophomore in high school.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Gross.
I was a fucking adult doing adult shit.
Dating women that are
Yeah.
5'10".
That's another grooming is in, folks. It's not grooming if she falls in love with you. And also
and pushing 30.
yeah. When is it? Because, Leonardo DiCaprio is dating these 25-year-olds and women are saying and let's be real, a very specific type of women are saying that he's like grooming her and manipulating her. But I feel like 25, that's enough to, be a politician.
Your brain is fully formed at 25. And anytime there is an age disparity that is as great as what Leonardo DiCaprio is doing. How old is he now?
He's in his 50s, I think.
He's in his 50s and he's dating women half of his age.
Right.
Which I don't want to be like, I don't have a problem with it because I'm like a cool chick. That's not necessarily how I feel. But I also don't want to necessarily like slap a problematic like label on that, because I do believe that we have the autonomy to make our own decisions. However, that doesn't negate the manipulation that you often see, especially in relationships where a man is significantly older than a woman. Now, having said that, you cannot manipulate me. You're 8 years my senior.
Yeah.
And I sometimes feel like I am the one that is like the adult.
Really?
Would you say that?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because I'm a fucking I do whatever I want.
Yeah, but like in the context of like being a human being, it's like going to the doctor. Like you were a 37-year-old man, 36-year-old man, and you hadn't gone to the doctor, and you had a growth coming out of your forehead. It wasn't like a hidden thing. It wasn't like I was afraid of like a hidden disease with you.
Yeah.
I legitimately, we started dating, and you had this bump on your head that you were fine existing there.
It was cool.
It was not cool.
It was unique.
It was the opposite of cool and unique.
I looked like James Dean with a bump.
No.
Yeah.
No. When did that bump arise?
It was like 4 years. It was around like forever.
Do you have like a fear of like, I don't want to find out it's cancer?
Well, it wasn't.
Was that your fear?
I mean, it was probably like some kind of cancer related thing.
And that's why you didn't get it checked out? Oh my God. And then what did I say? Okay, go and get blood work done. And you find out you have high cholesterol.
I'm dying.
And now you are, I feel like you're happy as a vegetarian.
I'm all right.
What do you miss most about meat?
Knowing that an animal died.
I knew you were gonna say something
that,
like that.
That a baby calf was torn from their mother to be made into delicious veal that my Italian brethren would serve us.
Veal is really good.
Yeah. But we have eggplant parm now.
Yeah, I feel like you were just like, even though I like something like veal, you're like, eggplant parm is good.
Yeah, I don't like miss it. I don't like wake up like salivating for a steak.
Right. So if we ever went to like Japan or any other like non-white country, I'll say, would you have some meat?
I probably have to. It'd probably just be easier.
Right? Because I feel like you can be vegetarian domestically, but then like when you travel, like when you go to a different culture, like you want to eat their shit. You know?
mean, I feel like certain countries would probably be easier. Like if we go to India, we could get vegetarian easy.
Yeah.
England, it's easier to never.
Well, that's why I said non-white countries, because England is like.
We should go to England next.
Yeah, I'd go back to London. I can't remember the last time I was there, but it was fun and I really enjoyed it.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was cool. We can go to Ireland.
We can.
Sorry, I'm like tired. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a long day. We worked. We worked all day today.
All day today. And normally I'm like prepared with a bunch of questions, and I had a bunch of shit in my head. And the whole reason why I write it down is because I said I'm going to forget. But then going into this, I was like, well, it's Joe. I'm not nervous, and I only forget when I'm nervous. Turns out I forget anyways.
Juice.
So here we are. Here we are.
Hey, maybe I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
Because I never write shit down.
I
hate
know.
those.
But
I hate those comics that like go up there with like a fucking notebook.
Well,
like, oh great, who's gonna give us a fucking book report now about things they had to write? They had to be like funny and edit themselves.
I didn't know
funny.
you hated me so much.
I do.
I have the worst short-term memory. The
Why?
worst. I don't know. I don't do drugs that much. I don't really smoke weed.
You don't?
Not like you.
No.
Comparatively, I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you start smoking weed?
I started late. I was like 25 when I started smoking weed.
And you were like, "Ooh, you green devil."
I was like, well, I don't want I just thought smoking weed was like unhealthy and just bad for me.
Mm.
And I didn't want to get like throat cancer.
Okay.
But then I was like, well, whatever.
So you started smoking weed and going down on women.
I was like, I'd rather smoke weed and get high and not be hungover the next day than drink a bunch of beer
Yeah.
and then feel like shit the next day. And then also lose the next day being like hungover and feeling shitty.
So
Yeah.
when you and I started dating, we would like go out on dates and you would order a bottle of wine
Yeah.
and we would have a few glasses, enjoy ourselves. It was great. And then once we locked it in, you were like, I don't really drink. And I'm like, that's weird. The whole time we were dating, you were drinking.
I was in a weird place in my life, too.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I was.
No. That I knew you were going to say some shit like that because that's not true. So like you don't drink really ever. You didn't drink at all when we were in Denver. You'll drink maybe at a wedding,
Yeah.
maybe. Or like a special event.
Social events.
I
have to be in the right mindset.
So when did that happen?
Probably around like 25. But then I would drink a lot. And then like right before I moved to New York, I was like drinking a lot because I was stressed. And then like I think my first year in New York, I was drinking a lot too. And just because I was like, ugh, fuck. Because I was also commuting to New Jersey.
Yeah.
So what I would do is at Penn Station, I get 2 tall boys
Nice.
for the train.
Yeah.
And I would drink one before the train arrived. And then I'd drink the second one on the train. So that way when I was like walking home through Bloomfield, I was like good and fucked.
Yeah.
And then there was always a pub that had dinner. So I'd place an order for pickup.
Yeah.
And I'd go to the pub and I'd have like 2 more pints.
Damn.
And then I'd get my food and then I'd go home.
I don't even know this guy.
Yeah.
You
I didn't
really-
like that guy as much.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't know. He just like spent too much money.
Yeah, it is a dirty habit to take all your money.
Yeah. So, and then like, once I just got like a little more comfortable and like most importantly, it was like there weren't as many like weed dispensaries
Yeah.
out and about. So it
It
was like
was
harder to get
harder.
weed because it
Mhm.
wasn't like entirely legal. Thank God COVID happened
Yeah.
and the New York economy needed to be stimulated.
So you didn't really drink during COVID?
No, I just smoked a bunch of weed.
Damn.
I was just like,
'Cause-
I'm just going to chill here and smoke weed.
I feel like I look at pictures of you from when you lived in San Francisco and I just see this small little drunk man.
Yeah.
Is that what you were?
Pretty much, yeah. I just drank all the time. I would drink all the time, but I would also like doing comedy. And I remember I used to host an open mic on Sunday nights at a gay bar.
Mm-hmm.
And the bartender just loved us. He gave us like 5 drink tickets each.
Nice.
And there was a drink called the Power Bottom, which was basically a mango margarita.
Uh-huh.
But you had to make it in a blender. So sometimes I would order like 3 of those. And a comic would be on stage just like bombing. And then like in the middle of their awful set, you'd hear the blender go off. And then like I would just come up hammered. Your next comic. So we'd drink at this open mic. And then we'd go down to the San Francisco Punchline for the Sunday night showcase.
Yeah.
Which was like the local talent show. And I remember I was hosting at this gay bar with my buddy John. Because we called it... OMJGs because we both had the initials JG
Yeah.
and the bar was called OMG.
Okay.
So it was a perfect play on words.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy who was hosting that mic, we went to the Punchline. And the way the Sunday night showcase worked was like all the comics would show up and they just kind of hang out in the back. And then whoever was booking or running the show that night would come by and say like, you're going up in 2 people. You're going to open the show. When was the last time you performed here, and then put them up. So there was kind of like a routine to it all to kind of see how people would work. And I was like fucking hammered, and I was like, I'm probably not going to go up. And then I was like tapped to go up like 3rd. And I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking wasted. And I was like, damn, if I fucking bomb, then that's going to be like the wake up call.
Right.
And I'm never going to fucking drink again. And I went up and had a fantastic set. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was having fun. I was like just the right amount of drunk, but the adrenaline had kind of kicked in where I was sober enough to have like a
Right.
coherent thought.
Right.
And I was like, uh-oh, I'm invincible.
Yeah.
And I remember like that was like the true wake up call where I was like, oh, I can do comedy on anything. Like I've done comedy on acid. I've done comedy coked up. I've done comedy just like fucking high as shit. I've done comedy on shrooms. Like I've done comedy like immediately after like doing DMT in my roommate's apartment, or not my room, my friend's apartment, with his roommate. So I've done it on like a lot of substances.
Yeah.
And like it's been varying returns. I remember one time when I was like doing a set on acid, I knew what I wanted to say, but I was having trouble putting it into words. And I remember thinking like, oh, this might be what dementia is.
Right.
And like imagine what kind of hell this would be if every day of my life I was trying to get the words out, but I couldn't. And I remember thinking like, and I remember even saying this like, hey, if I have dementia in my 80s, play this set back, and I bet it'll make perfect sense to somebody with dementia. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. One other thing I was thinking about was just like I was riffing on the idea of like the Lion King animated movie and just like some white guy in a suit trying to pitch the opening song of and I just remember like I just imagine like some white guy was trying to upsell the Lion King, and he was like, and then we'll also have like traditional African music, but it was just like this fucking white guy in a business suit like fucking singing like African tribal music and dancing around, and like Will Eisner's like, oh, that's fucking perfect. I love that. That was like another little thing I thought of on acid.
Nice.
But yeah.
Has there ever been a time where like you looked in the mirror and you were like, I gotta lose weight?
Yeah, constantly.
Constantly.
All the time. Like even now I'm still like, God, I gotta drop some weight, but it's not gonna happen.
I feel like you were really good with like doing the exercise bike that we have.
Yeah.
But I don't know why is it so hard being consistent?
It's just like there's better things to be doing, and you get
Like,
bored
yeah.
because it's and like. I think the thing with like the bike is like, it's a very stationary thing. So
Yeah.
it's hard to go and do like the exact same thing in the exact same position every single day, and now we could, switch it up and, put like YouTube videos on or something, but
Right.
it's just like routine. I feel like if I still worked in an office and had to commute and I took a bike, that would be like, I would be able to do that consistently every day.
I think just walking to the subway, getting on a train, standing on the train because it's crowded so you can't sit, and then walking up to your office, like that in and of itself is like a low impact workout.
Yeah.
That COVID no longer happens, and I'm grateful for it because I am like I like my job very much. I like being employed. I don't mind what I do, but I fucking hate having a job. I hate having a job. And it's so like it's nothing about my job. It's not anything to do with like the company or the work that I do. It's just like the fact that I am beholden between a certain amount of hours. And if I don't want to have to work those hours, I have to specifically request to not work. It's just, I'm getting a little existential about it,
I mean, yeah, but what else are you going to do? Are you going to be doing comedy like 24/7?
No, I don't want to. I want to watch reality TV. I want to watch Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, but you can just keep that on in the background.
Yeah, I know. And I don't usually have this like attitude. I think I'm just like a little depressed. Maybe it's like a
Because you're dating me.
no. I think it's like a little bit of like I haven't seen my therapist in like 2 or 3 weeks, and like we're back from a trip in which, it was a great time and I wasn't working. I just was able to have 7 days of doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think I have like a little like low grade post Taylor Swift depression also happening. And so I think there's a few factors at play. 'Cause no, if I didn't have my job, I wouldn't do comedy 100% of the time. I wouldn't. I would still look at like doing something like a podcast as like, I got to get this fucking thing done. Even though this is something I really enjoy doing and having. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
Damn.
And I feel like I have to actively fight the urge to not eat every second of the day
Yeah.
when I feel this way. It sucks.
Good thing there's no food here.
No, there's food here. I spent so much money at the grocery store because groceries are so expensive.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to have a fucking job.
That's true. Just to live. Just to eat food.
Just to eat food. I know. I sound like I'm complaining because it's like, all right, I'm very grateful for my life. I have a good life. But it's just like, I don't know. Do you eat when you're emotional?
Yeah, sometimes. I eat when I'm high.
Yeah.
That's
well,
the big
high is not emotional.
It's an emotion for me.
High is like the opposite of emotional.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah.
You eat when you're high?
Yeah. I eat when I'm high. I usually, the only time I don't eat is when I'm stressed.
Right.
But yeah, and if I'm happy, I probably won't eat as much.
Right.
But yeah, you got to get hungry.
I feel like I'll eat like whether I'm stressed, whether I'm happy, like it will always manifest in me feeling soothed by having something. You know? I don't know. I guess it's I don't know. I guess it's better than like having something to drink, but I do that too. So
Oh, damn.
I don't know. I mean, you
Uh-oh.
live with me, you know.
Yeah. I
how
drink
am.
coffee all the time.
And you still get to go to sleep.
Yeah, because I smoke weed to even it out.
Oh yeah, that's
Perfectly
true.
balanced.
That's true.
That's what a perfectly balanced diet is.
Yeah. Weed and coffee.
That's right. The all-stars.
Yeah.
Get me through my day, powering me up.
Just to power you down.
Yeah. I would never take a job that would make me not smoke weed.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you have a problem?
No, fuck no.
Why?
I feel like the rest of the world has a problem
Oh, really?
with not letting us smoke weed wherever the fuck we want.
Mm.
If I could have it my way, the whole world would be like 1950s America, only instead of cigarettes, it's weed. Where like people are just like smoking weed with their coffee in the morning,
Yeah.
walking around smoking weed in the office.
I mean, in some places it is almost like that. Like not smoking everything, but like you can get like a cold brew and put some edible stuff in
THC,
it, and you know,
man.
and all of a sudden you have a weed cold brew.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
You are a little bit not against edibles because you'll happily take them, but like you prefer smoking to
I love the hit of the smoke in the lungs. And anyone that just has like I feel like edibles are just for like old people.
and me.
Oh, really?
And like people that are like, because I feel like with edibles, it's like I can have a 5 milligram edible and then like in an hour decide, I'm good right now, or I'm going to have a little bit more. And like, there's something about smoking where it's like you take one too many hits or just one hit that's too big and now you're just high. And it
yeah,
feels
but
like
that
it's-
only lasts like a few minutes.
No, it doesn't last for you because you are a chronic smoker.
Oh, shit.
You know, for like a normal person that like, you know, has a moderate marijuana usage,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
How long do your trips last?
I don't know. Have you ever had an edible where you were high the next day? Actually, tell that story about when you flew.
Yeah, hell yeah. When I lived out in California, my dad was like arranging for us to come out and do a little family get together in New York. So this was probably I'd still been working, so this was probably in like 2000. I'm going to say 16, probably 15 or 16. So to prepare for the plane, I got an edible that I took at work, and it was a brownie, and the total milligram, it was 500 milligram THC, which is a fatty edible. Because most edibles are like 5 to 10 milligrams. So this was 500 milligrams. It wasn't a single use brownie,
Right.
but I treated it like a single use brownie.
Right. It's a brownie that you should have cut up into like 5 sections.
Right.
And you were like, no, I'm going full tilt. We're having 500 milligrams of this brownie. And you said you took it at work.
I took it at work.
So you went through TSA
yeah.
high as balls.
I left work early because I was so high.
Damn.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to peace out and catch my train. So I actually took BART, which is the basically San Francisco subway, to my parents' house. And my parents were going to drive me to the airport. And I was just watching Family Guy in the living room. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm fucking high.
Were you scared?
No, I was like fucking pumped. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is what I needed. I love being high. I've never felt like, oh, I've always felt like, oh, I'm going to work out. I always feel like I'm playing like a video game or like there's no consequences. I remember one time I was high as fuck walking through the Tenderloin district of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And the Tenderloin district is just like huge methamphetamine problem. Like all the crack from San Francisco originates in like this little area of the Tenderloin. And I was just like walking around being like, these apartments look like New York. Wow. And like I was never like, I'm in danger.
Yeah,
that
you're
never,
just like singing in the rain.
So my parents took me to the airport. I got to the gate. And this was like Virgin Atlantic back when, Virgin Airlines was still a thing.
Oh, I loved Virgin. Best airline.
So I was like on the plane and I was like high as shit. The magenta lights were on and I was like perfect. I sat down and I remember the video came on where they were like, singing and dancing and telling everyone like, oh, it's chill, we're fucking cool, but make sure your seat's up.
Right.
And the tray table's locked. And then I fucking passed out. I didn't know what happened. And when I came to, they said, welcome to New York City. The local time is 8 a.m., because it had been like a red eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, did I sleep all night? And I was like, fuck, I am high as shit. And I used my phone to take a selfie. And like my eyes were like blood moon red over. It wasn't like how you can see like the little veins and stuff.
Yeah.
Like my entire iris was fucking blood red. Like it looked like I had like broken blood vessels, and I was like, fuck, I am high. My sister and I, deplaned, and Amy was complaining. My sister Amy was complaining because like people sitting next to her on the plane had like BO or like they weren't wearing deodorant. So she was like, it was awful. That flight was awful. And I was just like, like I was just like, I literally traveled through time. Like that's how all airplanes should be. They should time it out where they just pump you full of edible. And it was like a combination of like the air pressure and just like the weed catching up to me that just like knocked me out. I'm sure the biggest thing was like the change in pressure.
Yeah.
And being high just like knocked me out. Landed, I was high. We got off the plane and my dad started like freaking out. He thought I had like some kind of allergic reaction to something in the plane, or that I got like pink eye or something.
But did he find it at all curious? Did he fly with you? Or
No, he met us there. He was already in New York.
Okay, and did Amy sit next to you on the plane?
No, she was in a different row.
Okay, so it wasn't curious that you were comatose.
No, we were both in San Francisco at the time, but we lived separately.
Right.
So we had to get our own tickets and stuff.
Oh, got it.
But yeah, I was like high as shit. And I was like high as shit for like the next day. So we were like just walking around New York being high. And I was like, oh, this is fucking cool.
Were you like, I'm going to be this way for forever?
And I said like, I remember thinking like, how great would it be if I would able to like live here and just be high? And I went and saw some of my friends. I think I even went to like Eastville Comedy Club to see some of my friends.
Yeah.
Perform. It might have been like the New York Comedy. I don't know, just one of those like comedy clubs. But I saw a couple of my friends. And I remember thinking, like, someday I'm going to perform in New York. And I did. What a waste.
But didn't you, like, go to the bathroom?
Eventually, like, on, like, on the second day in New York, I finally had eaten food. And, like, I needed to take a shit because I'd been, like, filled up. And I went to the hotel bathroom, and I took, like, the biggest shit, but it smelled like weed. It smelled like fucking weed, and like the poo was like a neon green. It looked like a bushel or something.
What the fuck?
It was fucking wild. It was like all the can of butter or something. And it like my poo was like a deep fucking green. And I was like, oh god, and I was like flushing, and of course it like smeared on the side of the toilet.
God.
So there were like these dark green streaks, and I was like, it's not like there's no way. Like there wasn't like spray or anything. I had to have the fan on, and it's like Dad's gonna know, and like, but what's he gonna do? I'm an adult,
right?
Yeah.
And
it's not like illegal, and it's like I didn't have any on me. I had it in me, But I love it. So
eventually,
like but that's like the other thing is like, I've been trying to get like those potent edibles, and they just don't have them out here yet.
Like a potent edible like that. Like I would be like that lady on the plane that's like, that motherfucker's not real. Like I would probably pull some of that shit.
Oh, man, I never would see that happening. I could never see myself like doing that. I'm always just like fucking chilling.
So we got on our plane from Colorado, and I had some rogue like weed gummies. It was my last two, and I forgot they were even in my bag. So I was like, oh, here you go. And it was only 10 milligrams, and it's like you said, like I think all of a sudden like the change in pressure and we're in the air, and I was like really, really high, and I started freaking the fuck out. Like I was freaking out on that flight, and you had no idea.
Where? On the flight to Denver?
Home. I was freaking out, and so I was just like, just keep watching Vanderpump, just keep watching Vanderpump, just keep watching Vanderpump. And it was a good show to like get lost in, but I started having anxiety because I had a slight discrepancy with my bag in the overhead compartment. My bag was too big, and so the flight attendant was saying that it was going to have to be checked, and that is just a hassle. When you don't bring a checked bag and then they check your bag at the gate, or when you're already on the when you're on the plane, it feels like home free. It's like, all right, this thing just has to not crash and I'll get home. And they were having a problem closing the thing, which is odd because I always bring that bag with me.
Right.
It's just like a regular beige carry-on bag. And it was a completely full flight, and so she was like, we're going to have to check this. And I was, anxiety was up a little bit, and so I was like, right. And I felt like I had a little bit of an attitude with her, so that when she came down the aisle with like snacks and drinks, I said to myself, like, I have to apologize to her. And so I apologized to the stewardess about the bag, and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, she was like, it's fine. But I had so much anxiety over like a 10 milligram edible that I was like, I have to apologize.
And then they didn't even check the bag.
They didn't even check the bag. It was fine. The other lady just like, boom, got it closed.
Yeah. I think they just need to put a little, they weren't
little elbow
pushing
grease.
it hard.
Yeah. And I think that's also what annoyed me, because I'm like, you're just not pushing hard enough,
I hate it when like people put like little ass bags on the overhead.
Yeah.
Like they were really shaming some people.
Oh yeah, they were publicly shaming people on that flight. They were like, whose bag is this? And you're just like, please don't be mine. Crazy. Like, that can fit under your seat, and just like chucking it at their head.
Yeah.
United, baby.
Yikes.
Cool. What else? What else do I have to talk to you about? I had other things in my head, and I meant to write it down, and I didn't.
And you didn't.
And I haven't smoked weed.
What's going on? Why did you just have Kelly Gorman written like a million times on that notebook?
Would you be mad if I didn't take your last name?
I don't really think I care.
I don't think I care.
Yeah.
I don't even really care about getting married.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
I think so too, right?
Yeah, who gives a shit? We're modern people.
Yeah.
We'll just be roommates forever.
Like, I don't want to be roommates forever. Can I get a boyfriend?
That's the name of our podcast, is Roommates Forever.
That's definitely been done.
Has it?
Yes. Roommates Forever, that's for sure been done.
We'll find out.
What was I going to say to you?
Spit it out, Juice.
No, it was right here, and I just lost it. This is what I'm talking about. Like, maybe it's because I went to concerts a lot in high school, and like I would get my head kicked in mosh pits, and then like I would just go home and go to sleep and not die. But now I have like irreversible memory loss. Do I have CTE?
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what you have for mosh pits.
I get angry sometimes.
You do.
Think I do.
You do have that rage.
I don't know why.
I don't know why
I'm in
either.
therapy. Another thing that I've granted you in our relationship is the gift of therapy. How do you feel about it?
It's all right.
It's all right?
It's okay.
Do you feel like you could do without it?
No, I think it's serving a purpose.
Do you think everybody needs therapy?
Probably.
I think so too.
I think they need like someone to at least talk to.
Here's my thing with therapy is that, and this is a little bit self-indulgent, but I have a hard time being close with people that are not actively working on themselves, because after a few years of me doing this shit and me working on myself, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying like anybody, it could be a friend, like having the same problems and not doing anything to work through them, and like reacting and responding to things from a place of trauma. It's like, hey, just because I've paid all this money to like, understand what's happening with me emotionally doesn't mean that I have to like navigate your trauma responses. Yeah. So that's what I feel about therapy, and that's why I think everybody needs it, especially because our generation, especially. Are you a millennial? You're elder millennial.
I'm technically an elder millennial.
Yeah, and I'm like a younger millennial.
A baby millennial.
Yeah. And so I'm broke like a millennial, but we were raised by boomers who were, I think, arguably the worst parents.
Probably the stupidest
ever.
Fucking group of people to ever live.
Selfish.
If you see a boomer on the street, why don't you introduce them to a new form of social media called a bullet to the brain?
That is a good app idea, Bullet.
Yeah.
Um,
That kills boomers.
I'm not saying like specifically our parents. I'm saying in general, boomers suck.
I was thinking specifically my parents. I was thinking about how badly they fucked up raising me. And like I feel like if I was born in like the 2000s,
Yeah.
would have avoided like so much unnecessary trauma.
Do you think you would be the comedian you are?
I'd probably be happier either way. And isn't that
like
more
maybe
important?
you wouldn't need comedy?
Maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But then how would America heal? I suppose that's like, that's like a thing where like I'm the happiest man, like this alternate universe where I'm like the happiest man, but there's so much disarray in the world. Like it's a noble sacrifice for me
Right.
to be a miserable drug addict so the rest of the world can carry on.
Yeah, I don't know. And you know how like there's like a common sentiment that only children are like incredibly selfish, and like it's selfish to have an only child or it's selfish to only have a single child because then, they don't have a sibling to like, kibitz with and like learn from. I have this belief based on nothing other than like my own experience and just seeing how everybody is so fucked up that only children are only grow up to be annoying adults because they were parented poorly.
Yeah.
I feel like, because I don't know how I feel about kids. I really like being like double income, no kids. I really like that flexibility. But I could see myself being maybe like 40 or 42 being like, oh, fuck. It might be nice to have a kid. I don't know.
It'd be too late by then because I'd be like 50.
No. First off, men can have kids for forever.
I'm not going to be 70 and going to like a fucking college graduation.
Whatever. But I'm saying like, I think it was Natasha Leggero that said, one child is an accessory, two children are a lifestyle. And I like the idea of like just one kid, one really cool kid that, you can like, set off into the world and hopefully make it a better place or whatever the case may be. But I think that, again, on the basis of nothing, that only children have this like label of being annoying and selfish and like, difficult to date, especially because they, were parented to be selfish. And I don't think I would make a selfish kid. But that's probably my ego talking, thinking that I wouldn't make a selfish kid.
I'm going to make my kids smoke weed at like probably age 12.
No.
Yeah.
You didn't start smoking until you were 25.
I know. And like, look how poorly my life turned out.
Had you ever smoked weed before 25?
I think I smoked weed when I was 18. Like, that's when I first.
And you were like, this isn't cool.
Oh, like I didn't get high.
You never get high the first time.
Yeah. And then like a few other times I did it, I didn't like how much the munchies affected me.
Oh.
So it was like learning to smoke weed and drink water.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, now I can master this.
Also, I don't mind the munchies if you have like healthy food around.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like learning
have
to like
fruit
eat
around.
fruits and shit.
Especially like when
Grapes.
your mouth is so dry and like you bite into like a juicy orange.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing better. I don't know where we were going with this. I lost it.
Talking about how much we hate our parents.
No, I don't hate my
Really?
parents. I think that if my parents were who they were when I was a child, I couldn't have a relationship with them, but they're different people now. And you also have to think about like the stress that they were under, and like I think you would say that your parents are different than
Probably.
I just remember what I like wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so you, even though you're from San Francisco, you grew up in Kansas.
That's right.
And it's a little bit interesting because your grandmother is fully Japanese.
Yeah.
And so your maternal grandmother is, you're like me in that you spent a lot of time with your grandparents growing up. So would you ever like be sent to school with like a weird food that the kids would be like, what is that? That's not a bologna sandwich.
No, the closest I had was when my dad would travel for his job, and he'd bring back international foods. And one of the foods he brought back from Germany was Nutella, which was like he was bringing it back like before it got big in America.
Yeah, man. Nutella wasn't big until like 2010s.
Yeah. No, this was in like the 90s.
Yeah.
So like my mom would make me like Nutella sandwiches.
And we're kids like, what the
Kids
fuck?
were like, whoa, what's that? Joe's eating a chocolate sandwich. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
So they thought it was cool.
It was cool, yeah.
Would you ever bring Pocky to school?
Not really, because I didn't really like the Japanese candy too much. It wasn't as sweet. Because like it was also like the 90s, which was like the epicenter of like unregulated sugar candies.
Oh, right.
For kids, like they would have like all kinds of fucking good ass candy
right. It's
bars.
like American candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American candy's so much better than other countries' candies because we have all that synthetic shit to make it taste good.
I mean, I think you've had chocolate from London. Don't you think it's like creamier and chocolatier?
I don't like it.
I think
Give me that good ass fucking American chocolate.
I think you're just saying that.
Nah. It's all right, but American. Pastries are a different story.
So I was watching a clip from 90 Day Fiancé. In which this bigger black guy was dating this Vietnamese woman. And they were like out and about, and the Vietnamese woman was like making fun of him being like, you know, big and dumb to like her friend. And he was like sat her down and was like, that's disrespectful. Like, you know, I've only seen one other person here that has my complexion, and like, you know, you're making me feel isolated, and, you know, calling me fat to people that like, you know, I don't know, like it's rude. And she went on to explain that like in our culture, like our friends will just be like, you're looking fat today, like, and like, you know, gas them kind of. So did your family ever do that?
Constantly.
Really?
Yeah. I told one time I remember at dinner, I was like, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat today. And my grandma was like, but then why are you so fat? And I was like, damn, grandma lit my ass up.
Came for your neck.
But it's also like I have like an American grandfather who would do like the same shit. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's also like just like a generational
just like
thing
a generational thing, yeah.
But it was like, what was it? A 90 Day Fiance. What was it?
A Vietnamese lady.
Vietnamese. Well, there's your thing right there.
Is that like a
different culture compared to the noble Japanese?
Oh, I see. Well, she was saying like Asian cultures we do. Oh, well, actually no, that's not what she was saying. It was the comments being like, I dated an Asian girl, and, you know, her family would always tell me I'm fat, blah, 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 blah. So that I think I just, like, saw that on the internet and was like, oh, I'll ask Joe about that because you have an Asian grandma.
Had.
R.I.P. to Susie. And, okay, so you got, like, fat shamed as a kid?
Yeah, all the time.
So you were always chubby?
Yeah.
You've never had, like, a skinny body?
I had a skinny body in, like, my mid-20s, which is also, like, a blessing because like that's when like you're like sexual prowess and stuff,
right?
And also like, oh cool, you can appreciate being fat, but man, getting fat after being thin
sucks.
That's awesome too.
Oh, it sucks.
Really? Why?
But why do you think it's awesome?
Because it's like, all right, I got what I needed.
Oh my god, that's
back, baby.
Such like a male perspective on that.
Yeah.
But you just said before like you would like to lose weight.
I would, but it's not going to happen. But I also know I can do it if I wanted to. But then I think about the things I was doing to lose weight, which is like running all the time and having to eat like, you know, less food and healthier food. It doesn't seem worth it.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Diets are a lot of times not sustainable.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, you know, I got to like run all the time. I have to maintain a healthier diet. But I don't know. I don't know if it has to be that complicated. I feel like, obviously, you know, we're not the picture of health here, but I feel like dieting is like, okay, you have to like restrict yourself to not have certain things.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it unsustainable. Whereas like if you're just like eating based on like how you're feeling and you surround yourself with healthier foods, then like you don't have to necessarily feel like you're on a diet. I don't know.
Maybe.
Do you ever resent being told that you were fat by your family?
A little bit, because like they weren't like the pictures of health either.
Right.
You know?
Well, a lot of times parents are just projecting onto their kids.
Oh, yeah.
So they probably felt bad about themselves.
They also like pushed me way too hard academically.
Really?
'Cause it was like, we're in the middle of fucking Kansas. Fuck this.
What do you mean they pushed you way too hard?
Just like, oh, you got to study, and like really making it feel like if I got bad grades, then I was like fucked.
Were you a no B's family or a no C's family?
No C's.
Same.
B's were fine.
I feel like if I came home with straight B's though, that would also be a problem.
Really? No, they were okay with that.
No, like they were like, "What do you mean you're coming home with a B+ in religion? Isn't religion supposed to be like the easiest thing?"
Yeah, because it's made up.
Exactly. Even they like were subconsciously copying to that.
Really?
Even though
No,
they
it's
were
like it's religion's horse shit.
no, not that religion is horseshit.
Really?
No,
I got family members that still believe in God.
same.
It's wild.
My whole family.
Really? Even Billy?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Frank certainly doesn't believe in God.
No, he's gay. He can't.
Yeah, he's Sodom and Gomorrah right there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so in all B's family, what happened if you brought home a C?
They were just like, "What's going on? What's happening?"
Oh, they would talk to you?
Yeah.
They wouldn't just like beat your ass and send you to your room?
No, they'd be like, "What's happening?" And then like, I'd try to get it better, but I just like certain things I just never really like science. I always had like a hard time with that, like physics especially. I was like, God, this is awful. And it was awful.
I
I struggled.
remember tutoring was always like threatened of like, if you don't shape up, you're going to have extra help in math class, or you're going to have to go sit with the dumb kids in math class. And at the time I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like I have to make sure like, I'm keeping up with the kids that are good at this and like not needing extra tutoring time. And there was only one time where I got extra like tutoring in math, like where they would like pull you out of like maybe like half of your English class to have a little bit more help with math. And wouldn't you know, I ended up getting a better math grade. And it's like, oh, tutoring was threatened, but it was what I needed. Like that is such a weird thing to me, like to look back on and be like, I was demonized and made to feel dumb when I just needed help. And it was like thrown in my face that like, you might need help and you don't want that to happen. And then I get a little help and then it's like, oh, all of a sudden that C goes to an A because they went a little slower.
But look how like meaningless those grades are in our adult life.
Completely meaningless. And I like probably stunted my growth stressing over it.
Yeah.
Completely. I don't know. It's weird to think about. What else you got? Got anything for me you want to talk about? God, we're so low energy. This is not how I imagined your episode being.
Really?
I imagined it being like, more laughing, more banter.
You should have had an outline.
I should have had an outline. I feel like
we can always do a round. We can try it again.
No, I want to get this out. I can have you back on, I guess.
We'll have you back on. I mean, fuck, you know where I am.
Yeah. Always in the way.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. I feel like we hit therapy. We hit you growing up. Were there any like dishes? Like, would you ever go eat dinner at like a friend's house when you were a kid growing up?
I just remember like going to like other people's houses and just realizing like my mom didn't know how to cook.
Right.
Like mom didn't really season food. She never really seasoned turkey or chicken.
Why were they so afraid of seasonings?
I don't know.
Why?
It's weird. It's like weird to be like, damn, what a weird fucking food to eat.
And now, if I were to go home and like make dinner for my parents, I did this once. I was home for the weekend and I made dinner, and my dad did not want to touch what I made. I made like a Chinese beef thing in the crock pot, and my dad was like, "No, this is not good to me." And it's like, you're just so used to mom's bland cooking that this is what you want. I don't know. And like meat was always well done.
Oh yeah.
Always burnt to fucking hell.
Super brown.
Yeah.
No red.
You
would get salmonella.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When it's like, now you just buy a food thermometer.
Yeah.
Right? Crazy. I don't know. Was there any things that like your grandma cooked you as a kid where you knew it was like different, or you just like only knew what was going on inside your house?
My grandmother would make sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would make that by hand.
Where was she getting fish in Kansas?
Like there were like Japanese supermarkets and stuff in the area.
Was it expensive? I guess
it was all right, but it was like frozen fish and shit.
Right.
Like, so it's different. Or like the stuff would be like imported, like vacuum sealed.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird to think about that because like Kansas is like so like far from the sea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's landlocked.
Yeah.
Did you like watching The Wizard of Oz as a kid? Because you were like, this is my house.
It was all right, but like it was like, oh, Kansas, but you know, the part in Kansas was like the most bland, boring
Yeah,
shit, you know.
It's like the depressing part of the...
It's wild. Like San Francisco claims Wizard of Oz because the gay community, you know. But then Kansas also claims Wizard of Oz because, you know, Dorothy's from Kansas.
Right.
But it's funny because like Kansas is very not gay.
Right,
you know?
right.
So it's like the two like opposite states loving the movie for two entirely separate reasons.
Yeah.
Like gay people are like, oh, this is like a vision of like finding yourself and exploration and, you know, finding somewhere over the rainbow.
Yeah.
And like Kansans are like, oh, they're from Kansas.
Well, Judy Garland is a queer icon.
Yeah.
So, makes sense. And I just love that San Francisco is like, no, we're the gay epicenter of the world.
Not New York.
Not
where fucking gay rights originated with Stonewall.
Yeah.
No gay people were harmed in the making of San Francisco.
That's literally not true. Harvey Milk was shot.
Well, his defense was like the murderer ate too many fucking Twinkies. You heard about that?
I heard about that,
the
yeah.
Twinkie defense? That's
yeah.
sick. He was like, the sugars in the Twinkies made me crazy, so I had to kill this fucking predatory gay man.
He didn't get off, did he?
I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
Sick.
Ugh.
Justice prevails.
Stop that. He's joking, everybody. Oh, man. Well, we hit an hour.
Yikes, we did it, Juice.
We did it. What are you going to do for the rest of the day?
I don't know, probably take a nap.
Probably take a nap?
Yeah.
I got to figure out what to cook for dinner.
I know. What's for dinner? Hey, bitch, what's for dinner?
One
I
time-
record a damn podcast all day, and you don't have dinner ready?
One time I had like either COVID or a stomach flu. I was very fucking sick. And you came in this room and you were like, hon, what's for dinner? And if I could have killed you with my eyes, I would have.
Yeah.
Like, why would you think that that's an okay thing to ask?
I thought it was really more of a, what do you want me to order for dinner?
Oh, sure.
I'm pretty sure I said, what do you want for dinner?
No, you said, what are we doing for dinner?
Yeah. So, like, as in, like, what restaurant do you want me to order from?
I need a Joe translator.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go to the grocery store again for the second day in a row.
We could go to Alligator Lounge.
We could go to Alligator Lounge.
Let's go to Alligator and get a set-in.
Yes, I would like to do that. But I also need to finish recording this.
And you can record the rest later.
Yeah, I guess. I'll see how I feel.
Okay.
But this has been great. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and most importantly, Threads at Joe W. Gorman.
Joe W. Gorman. You're the best. I love you.
I love you too, baby.
Bye.
Bye.